Hello and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Alfonso Peluso and I'm a Studio Associate Professor in the College of Architecture at IIT, the home of the legendary Mies van der Rohe, and I'm adjunct faculty at Columbia College in Chicago in the Interior Architecture program. Shout out to all my students. I hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful sunny day at the end of summer in Chicago. It's actually pretty hot. It's 88 degrees today. So I hope you're enjoying the weather wherever you are. All right, today, let's make sure this is recording. All right. So today we are looking at SketchUp. This is an introduction to SketchUp. This is my first video for SketchUp, so I'm pretty excited about it. I'm working in SketchUp Pro 2021. Alright, this is what we can expect to have at the end of today's tutorial. If I tab on over, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, search me up on YouTube, Alfonso Peluso, and click on the subscribe button, click on the bell to receive all the notifications. Looking to get to 10,000 subscribers. That's my next milestone, so I'm pretty excited about that. There's something here for everyone. If you're into CNC milling, AutoCAD, Grasshopper, Photoshop, Revit, Rhino, you name it, it's on here. Something for everyone. Also, connect with me on Instagram at my first name Alfonso _ my last name Peluso. Looking to connect with 2,000 followers soon. See what I'm up to with my students. See what kind of work they're producing. See what I'm up to with my family. Last summer we took a road trip to New York. That was pretty cool. Alright, so SketchUp. If you go to SketchUp.com, you'll come to this page here. And SketchUp for students in college is $55 a year. And you can subscribe to that. Alright, so let's head back over to SketchUp. So here's what we're going to end up with in the end. We have a little model here. And this actually gets us, fairly well into an introduction into SketchUp, how SketchUp works, what it's all about, how to make objects, things like that. Alright, so I'm going to start a new file. File new. Okay, so here's a new file, and this file is architectural. So if I was to just close down SketchUp just to see what it's like when you open it from scratch. Okay, so SketchUp Pro. You have architectural and you have simple. So we're going to go, and there's other types of architectural. There's millimeters, centimeters, and meters. So we're going to make sure that we go with architectural inches. That's going to be the file that we're going to open. Okay, now the wheel on your mouse will zoom in and out. So I'm zooming in and out with the wheel on my mouse. If I hold down the wheel, it's going to orbit. So this is my 3D orbit. I'm just holding down the wheel and I'm 3D orbiting. If I add my shift key in, I'm panning. Okay, and we'll get quite a bit of use out of this. Alright, so we're going to start out by making this little building that's 30 feet by 60 feet. So I'm going to start by making a floor or a floor slab. Now the shortcuts that I'm going to go through, there's a few of them. One is rectangle. So I'm going to type in R on the keyboard. And just R, press and release. A lot of press and release in SketchUp. So I type in R and I'm going to snap to this origin. And as I'm drawing, you'll see in the lower right hand corner of my screen there's some dimensions that are showing up. So I can type in the dimensions before or right after I click the rectangle. I'm going to do it while I'm in the rectangle command. So I'm going to type in 30 feet, comma, 60 feet. Enter. Okay, so there is my rectangle. That's 30 feet by 60 feet, and it fills it in automatically. If I want to measure this, there is a tape measure at the top of the screen. There's a tape measure tool. And T is for tape measure. I can press T on the keyboard and I can measure that. So that's 30 feet. And this way is 60 feet. So it's important to measure what you're doing, making sure that you're always in the correct scale. Okay, so now I should also show you where rectangle is. So if I go to this pull down under shapes, here's where rectangle is, and you see the shortcut for that is R. Alright, so we looked at rectangle, we've looked at tape measure, which is T. Now we're going to look at something called push-pull. So this is our push-pull, and it is P on the keyboard. P for push-pull. So I am going to press P on the keyboard. And at any time, if you want to go back to the space bar or back to the selection tool, you just click the space bar or click the selection tool. Alright, so I'm going to click P for push-pull. I'm going to drag this down, and I'm going to type in 1 foot. Okay, and because I was dragging it downward, it went downward 1 foot, and that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so now I'm going to create a column. Same methodology. I'm going to type R for rectangle. Let's talk about something. I haven't made a component out of this floor, so I'm going to have a problem when I make my column, and I think it's important to demonstrate what that problem is. So let's keep working. Just a heads up, we're going to have an issue. So I'm going to make my rectangle here. Okay, I snapped. I'm going to make this 1 foot, 1 foot, enter. Okay, it's little, so I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to type in P for push-pull. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to pull this up 8 feet. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this. See what's happening when I move it? It's moving the edge of it. And also, I don't think I can get it to really, there we go. Here's the deforming that I was talking about. So I'm not trying to make something really complicated or complex. I'm just showing what happens when you don't group objects, or I shouldn't say group, when you don't make components out of objects. They join to one another. There's something in SketchUp and it's called stickiness. So SketchUp has stickiness. So the way that we avoid stickiness is we make components out of things. So I'm going to Control Z to go back. Okay, so I need to make a component out of this floor slab. So I'm going to press my space bar to get to my selection. I'm going to select the whole thing. I'm going to do that without selecting the person. Okay, so now if I type in on the keyboard G for group, the letter G, I'm going to type in floor slab. Okay, so now when I create my column, I won't have any of those issues that we saw before. Very important with SketchUp. Okay, R for rectangle. Start to create my rectangle, 1 foot, 1 foot, enter. I'm going to use P for push-pull. I'm going to zoom into that. Okay, I'm going to type in 8 feet. Okay, I'm going to make a component out of the column now. So I'm going to press the space bar for my selection. I'm going to make a selection of this, get the whole column in there. Type in G, and I'm going to type in column. Okay, so now I'm going to make some instances, or what you can call copies of this column. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to my move tool. So I can go to my move tool from the main toolbar, or I can press M for move. I'm going to press M for move. I'm going to find the endpoint, and I'm going to drag it over. Now at any time, if I press and release the control key, it makes a copy. It's important that you press and release the control key. And I think it's going to stay in this, as we start to copy this around, it's going to stay in this copy mode. We'll see. Okay, we can go to that one. And I'm going to go ahead and go over to this one. Yeah, see, it's staying in this control mode because I pressed and released Control one time. Okay, let's grab this one. Press my space bar, select it, press M for move, press and release the control key. Okay, I'm going to also copy this from its midpoint. So there's the midpoint snap to the midpoint of, should be able to find the midpoint of the floor slab, and there it is, it snaps to it. Okay, one more. Okay, spacebar, select it, M for move, find that midpoint, zoom out. There's the midpoint and the snap. Now I didn't hold the control key down, so I can try that again. Press and release, not hold the control key, but press and release the control key. Alright, so there are all of our columns. Okay, now I'm going to make an instance of the floor slab by copying it up. So I'm going to select the floor slab. And now I'm going to go ahead. The other thing, by making components of objects, it doesn't then select the faces. You can just click on it and it selects the whole object. So you see this, it selects the whole object, it selects the whole object, selects the whole object. Okay, now I can type in M for move, press and release the control key. Alright. So now what I want to make is I want to make this sidewall. And we're going to get a good look at the tape measure for this. So for this, I only need to see the two columns. So I'm going to press my space bar to go back to select. I only need to see this column and this column. Everything else I can turn off. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to select these other things. Using my control key to add to the selection. Okay, so that's what I want to hide. And I'm going to go up to main menu view, main menu edit, hide. And that hides all of that. Okay, good time to save. You guys should save pretty often. I haven't really experienced a lot of crashing with SketchUp, but you know, you never know. Computers can crash for any reason. Okay, so I'm going to create a wall using the rectangle tool. So this is going to be neat because this is going to be a vertical rectangle. So I'm going to type in the command R, just the letter R for rectangle, and I'm going to snap, and it's going to choose, it's going to do a 3D snap. It's going to find that point and give me a vertical wall. Then I'm going to use my push-pull tool by selecting P on the keyboard and pulling that out, and I'm going to type in 6 inches. Okay, now one thing is I don't go down here to try to highlight 6 inches or to try to put my cursor in that. It just, there's no way to do that. You just type it in and it automatically changes. Okay, so now I am going to hide these columns. Alright, so we're going to put some window openings in this wall. We're going to do this evenly spaced by using the tape measure. Okay, so I'm going to select my tape measure. Now this wall, it's an odd dimension. It's 30 feet center to center to column, but this wall is only 28'6". Okay, so we get an odd dimension to begin with. So we're going to start out our first dimension. I am going to drag this over. Let's try this again. Let's get rid of the guides. So these are called guides now from the tape measure. Let's get rid of the guides that are already there by going to Edit, Delete Guides, Main Menu, Edit, Delete Guides. And let's do this again. Okay, so I went over the edge. It's a little tricky to get used to the tape measure. I went over the edge. The red dot showed up. I clicked and I'm moving my cursor over to the right. And I need to make this first one 3 foot 9. So in the lower right, I'm typing in 3 foot 9 inches. Enter, and it moves it over. Now I get the red dot. I click on it. I'm dragging over. Let's try this again. There we go. I'm dragging over 5 feet. Then I'm dragging over 3 feet. I'm dragging over 5 feet. Dragging over 3 feet. And dragging over 5 feet. And I should have 3 foot 9 left over, and I do. Okay. I also want to make sure that these are 2 feet from the top and 2 feet from the bottom. So I'm going to drag down from the top 2 feet and drag up from the bottom 2 feet. Okay, so I'll see in a second where my rectangular windows are going to go. So I'm going to type R for rectangle, and I'm going to draw these in. It'll stay in the rectangle command. Okay, now I'm going to type P for push and pull. I'm just going to pull it back and type in 6 inches, and that'll make an opening in it. So I'm pulling it back through the wall. You can see it now sticking out way back through the wall. And I'm going to type in 6 inches. Pull it back way through the wall, 6 inches. Okay, there is my openings in my wall. So they're all evenly spaced because I used the guide and a tape measure tool. Okay, I'm going to go up to Main Menu, Edit, and I'm going to choose Delete Guides, get rid of my guides. I want to unhide all my objects. So Main Menu, Edit, Unhide, and I'm going to choose All. Okay, I'm going to make a. Now I didn't make a group of this wall, or I should say a component, not a group. I didn't make a component of the wall, so that's something I want to do. So I'm going to Control Z back to this step, and I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to type in G, and I'm going to type in wall-01. I keep saying group because the shortcut's G, which I associate with a group, but it's actually making a component. Okay, so let's go and unhide everything else. And I can press M for my move key. And press and release the control key once, makes a copy. And there's that wall. Okay, so let's get inside here to make a camera. Okay, so if I go to camera, I can choose position camera, and I can just pick, and I clicked, and now I'm letting go of or not letting go, but I'm dragging. So I'm clicking and dragging. And then I can zoom back. I can zoom in and out once I get there. Okay. Now to see some shade and some shadow, we're going to go to Main Menu, Edit, View, not Edit View, Main Menu, View, and I'm going to turn shadows on. And then we get some shadows coming in. Now, if I want to save a view of this, a rendering of this to open up in Photoshop, I can go to Main Menu, File, Export, 2D Graphic, I'm going to change this to PNG so it has a transparent background. I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to make the width of this 2,500. I'm going to uncheck use view size, 2,500. It automatically updates the height, and I'm going to make sure that I click on transparent background. Okay, make sure I give this a place to save to. Okay, so that's it for this intro to SketchUp. If you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. Let me know why you found this video helpful. My head's going to pop up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Go ahead and click on that to subscribe to my channel. In the upper right-hand corner and lower right-hand corner are going to be some links to some other videos. All right, I will see you on the next one.